The world is not just changing, it is transforming at hyperspeed. And AI is revolutionizing how we work, digital technology is reshaping customer experience, and the way we learn and grow is evolving daily. The question is, who is leading this transformation? Welcome to Industry Beacon, where we decode the future of business with the leaders who are shaping it. I'm your host, Jack Madrid. From revolutionizing AI in communication to breaking down barriers in the global workforce, this is how leaders drive impact in a digitally connected world. As the president and CCO of Sanas.AI and a co-founder of Carya, a go-to-market partner of Carya, which is a venture capital firm in deep tech AI, Marty Sarim and his company are transforming AI speech technology to neutralize accents, expand job opportunities, and create more inclusive workplaces. While many see AI as just another tool, Marty sees it as a force for human empowerment. How can technology amplify rather than replace human potential? And what does it mean to navigate a world where AI and human ingenuity must work together? Let's welcome Marty to the show. Good to have you here, Marty.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
So let's start with a question that I am most often asked, Marty. Is AI going to make me lose my job? This is a question that's been asked for many months now. What is your, as a venture capitalist, what is your view on this?
Yeah, absolutely. We hear this question a lot, and a lot of people fear AI, and really AI should be embraced, because what it's doing is it's essentially creating efficiencies for a lot of companies to be able to operate cheaper, operate faster, and create more jobs. In fact, it's actually going to create more jobs than it's replacing. And I think the misnomer is a lot of people think that AI is replacing their job. It's going to actually make their job easier. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the actual AI companies that are doing some of this stuff, but it's all built on the software that's being developed today. This same software that's quote unquote replacing jobs is the same software that will build new careers, new jobs, new companies that will create customers and create more jobs in the future. So
we've been hearing a lot, especially in the IT BPM industry, Marty, that agentic AI, which is AI that can actually reason,
sure,
and act virtually and engage in customer experience, that could be like a new threat. Now, is it the same answer that you have?
It's similar, right? Because if you think about it, take call centers, for example. Agentic AI is replacing some of the low-hanging fruit. We call them tier one voice calls. And tier one voice calls are the same repetitive calls that customer service agents take over and over again. And customers are generally waiting in queues, sometimes up to 2, 3, 4 minutes to get somebody live on the phone, where today that's streamlined, and now you'll be able to talk to an agentic AI right away. So although that'll replace some of the work, there'll be more work created later. And quite frankly, I've been in the contact center space for a long time. I know what these agents kind of feel about tier one voice calls. They don't want to take the same kind of calls over and over again. So agents are glad to get rid of those phone calls so they can take on kind of tier 2 and tier 3 calls, which are a little bit more complex, a little bit more engaging, and we can actually use their education and their training to service more tougher types of inquiries.
So higher value jobs, presumably higher salaries for these more complex work.
Absolutely. Higher value for sure, and higher salaries for the agents.
So Marty, you've been in the space, tech space, and from your contact center experience, so you have the combination of both. Building a tech-driven company, I'm sure, is not easy. What were some of the roadblocks that you face as a venture capitalist, and how do you surmount them?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of roadblocks, right? It's the tech in itself, but there's oftentimes you're building software that the world's never seen before, and getting people comfortable with the software. These are new products in the market, and trying to break into a market with a new product is always difficult. So it starts with education, right? You have to tackle the use case head on and start educating customers, whether they're enterprises or whether they're BPOs. You have to start educating them about what the tech is able to do and how that tech is able to improve the life of your customer or your customer's customer or your employees. And so once you start with that, then of course, then it's security, right? Security is always a big, especially with AI, how much is listening, how much is recording, how much is monitoring, how much is stored, what are you doing with that data that's stored? Like all of these questions are common questions. And so that's kind of the second set of hurdles to overcome. And then after that, it's all about getting a couple of companies that sponsor you and that use your product to go out there and cheer for you and say, look, I use this product. It's working really well. I'm happy to do a white paper. I'm happy to do a testimonial. And that's kind of how it catches fire.
So with your impressive portfolio, there will be some winners, obviously, hopefully.
Absolutely.
But not all of them are going to hit it out of the park, right? What would be a good batting average?
Sure. I mean, at Carya, we're very lucky. We've been very fortunate. This is our third year in the fund, and we've got 42 companies right now that we've backed. And we're fortunate to have some of the strongest deep tech AI minds in the world that just came out of some of these universities like Stanford University, IIT, MIT. Some of these founders are brilliant, and I won't even call them kids, but they're half my age. And a lot of these founders are working on things that drove them from change in the market. So some of these founders basically have life-changing events that affected them, which is what's driving their innovation, which is why they're building the products they're building. And I think it's not everyone's going to make it in the field that we're in because we generally write the first checks. So we're seed investors. We're called angels for a reason, right? We come in when there's an idea. We come in before pre-revenue, sometimes before the company even started. So, but we're along for the ride, and part of Carya is we thrive on being very helpful to the founders themselves. So.
Carya has invested in a very promising AI company, which actually has already presence here in the Philippines, Sanas.AI.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why you're here in Manila this week. Let's talk about Sanas. What does Sanas do?
Yeah, absolutely. Sanas is one of the darlings of our portfolio. Sanas is essentially, it's a speech platform where the idea is to make communications clear across the world by simply removing accents. And
speech improvement.
Speech improvement, yes. So it's a speech technology that basically will eliminate accent in real time. So if you think about call centers, for example, one of the biggest impediments of contact centers with clear communication is accent. So what Sanas will do is we'll come in, we'll eliminate the background noise, we'll enhance the audio and enhance the voice, but also reduce the accent. So we'll allow the agent to have their same pitch, their same tone, their same personality will come out. We'll just take that accent and reduce it. And by that, there's a lot more clear communication to the listener.
But you're not changing the voice of the human.
Not at all. Not at all.
Are you making the accent North American, or are you just neutralizing it?
Yeah, we're essentially just neutralizing it. We don't want the Filipinos or the Indian or any other place in Central South America, Africa, et cetera. We don't want those agents to lose their personality. We don't want to hide the fact that they're calling from Philippines or India. All we want to do is just eliminate that accent so there's clear communication. And what generally happens is that clear communication eliminates bias and eliminates discrimination. It eliminates abuse. And that actually happens quite often. And part of Sanas, when we first came out with the product, we were criticized because people said that we want to try to make everyone sound white or everyone try to sound American. And the fact of the matter is we are educating the market to say, look, with speech analytics tools that are available today, with call monitoring tools that are available today, you should know how many times somebody says a derogatory comment to your agents. You should know how many things that are said that are negative towards an agent. And at the end of the day, we're all humans, right? We don't want to deal with that abuse. And when that goes away, agents sound more confident, and agents sound more comfortable. And then when they're comfortable and confident, then they're successful. And then when agents are successful, they start to perform. And when agents perform, everyone's happy. And so that's the movement that we're on, and we're in the very early stages of that. But today we have 100,000 agents using our portfolio or our platform. And our goal is by the end of the year that we'll have 1 million agents using
1 million agents.
1 million. It's a big number.
Delivering even greater customer experiences to customers. So
Absolutely.
that will further elevate the 1.8 million digital Filipino workers as they serve global customers. Fantastic.
Yeah, and honestly, like what we're looking at doing too is there's a lot of saturation in these tier 1 cities, right? In Manila, oftentimes the call centers and enterprises, they're fighting for labor, right? The agents will go to the top floor, the next floor, the floor underneath for 25 cents more an hour or something like that, where there's other cities in Manila, tier 2, tier 3 cities that companies haven't opened up yet.
Right.
And the reason they haven't opened up yet is because the accents are too thick. So if you think about a product like Sanas that can reduce the accent in real time, now it opens up markets in tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is why we're being talked about as a GDP shifting product, and that's essentially something that we're proud of.
I like that, GDP shifting. So we're currently almost 9% of the Philippines GDP.
Yeah.
So hopefully with Sanas, you can push us into the 10% territory.
I think we will. I mean, we're starting to see that early on, and some of the people that we're working with are the people in charge of HR, the people in charge of talent acquisition, and they're seeing with Sanas, their cost to hire is going down, their labor pool is opening up, and with a much larger labor pool, that's how growth is driven.
That sounds really promising. Marty, you often talk about real-time phonetic speech mapping. For the non-engineers in the room and our audience, can you break that down for us? What's really under the hood when somebody uses the Sanas platform?
Sure. Well, Sanas' breakthrough was speech-to-speech synthesis, or real-time speech-to-speech synthesis, phonetically mapping sound. And what that essentially means, it's a fancy way of saying we break down the phonemes instead of the syllables and instead of the words and the phrases, we break down at the phoneme level. So every sound that you make out of your voice, we map out a new sound. So we'll send out that exact same sound, just minus the accent. And so, with that software, we're able to do this in real time. And sometimes people are like, how come this hasn't been done before? Why aren't other voice companies building this type of, this is Sanas' new accent translation in the market. Has never been done before. It's never even been heard of before. And because, speech-to-speech synthesis has never been created. And so that's the magic behind Sanas. That's where our patents are, and our brilliant engineers that have developed this is kind of where that breakthrough is.
I still remember the demo that you did at the IT-BPM Summit last year, and that was really, really quite impressive. But we're going to take a quick break right now. Industry Beacon will be right back. Please stay with us.
Hello, I'm Rain Musngi. Catch up with us on Newsfeed Business.
Facts on global trends.
At the very moment, the clock is quickly ticking down to meet critical political priorities.
Keeping you updated on business news whenever, wherever.
It's a dagger at the heart of the average American family. It is just outrageous.
Newsfeed Business with Rain Musngi.
Thanks for making us your daily source of financial insights.
Keep it here on BNC. First, updated, on top of everything, and focused on the things that matter most. This is who you want to be. So scan your digital boxes now and search for Billionario News Channel. Always on top.
Welcome back to Industry Beacon. Let's continue our discussion with Marty Sarim of Sanas.AI and Carya Ventures. Marty, you talked about cybersecurity earlier. And today, data privacy is so important in today's digital landscape. How does Sanas actually handle call recordings, data privacy, and achieving compliance in this world that's really so obsessed with cybersecurity.
Sure. And the world should be obsessed with cybersecurity. It's an important thing. And so information security has always been something that's been very, very important, especially in call centers. And the beauty with Sanas is we're a downloadable exe file that downloads on the agent's desktop. So we don't store, we don't record, we don't monitor. We don't need internet connectivity. So basically, powered to the machine is all we need for Sanas application to operate on. And so that allows us to pass through the security relatively quickly. And so that was really the breakthrough is when we built it that way.
And so that certainly makes it quite easy to deploy.
Yeah. Easy is relative, right? Everyone seems to think that, Sanas needs all this data and Sanas records all this information and then stores this information. And quite honestly, we don't. And so when we go through the security assessments, we generally pass through them much quicker than other AI companies because of that, that we're not as intrusive as a software, as a service platform as other companies are.
Fabulous. Marty, the Philippines is evolving from a BPO hub to a high-value experience destination. How do you think Sanas will continue to help the Philippines drive this shift? And how do you recommend the country positioning itself globally in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, again, back to Sanas, it's one of the few AI companies that's not quote unquote eliminating jobs. And so it works with the agents, it augments the agents. And so whenever you can get a workforce that, we've all been in this business long enough to know, we know that the agents oftentimes English is their second language. And when English is your second language and you're doing business in English, you're not as confident as you are in your original mother tongue. And so with a software like Sanas, what's happening is the agents are speaking naturally in their mother tongue. They're becoming more confident, and with that confidence, their performance is going up. And with that performance, it's really starting to turn heads on in the market to say, with technology like Sanas and the Philippines, there is a marriage there that the future of customer service could be increased and the performance could go up to the next level because that elimination of communication or that bias of communication is no longer there. And so having clear, constant communication for everybody is going to drive numbers and value. And I think we're going to see that here in the Philippines as well. So.
And the fact that a lot of our workforce is doing remote work or working from home or doing hybrid has no impact on the deployment of Sanas. It can work on-site or off-site.
That's right. Yeah, oftentimes, people would complain in customer satisfaction scores and that they would hear kids running around in the background or animals barking in the background and that kind of thing. And with Sanas, all we do essentially is remove all the background noise. What we'll do is we'll enhance the voice so the quality will come through, and then we'll remove the accent. And with that, it's a professionally sounding agent that they're doing in the comfort of their own home.
So it's actually two features in one. You got the noise reduction and you have the speech improvement piece.
Sure. Yeah, there's two features in one, and many more features coming out in the past. If you think about speech understanding platform, speech understanding is a lot of things, right? One is accent neutralization, one is background noise, but there's other things in speech, things like language, right? We're working on real-time language translation. There's things like grammar that needs to be corrected. So the world's never seen real-time grammar corrections. Our engineers feel like we can build that. That's on our roadmap. We've done a ton of studies now to think about comprehension. When an agent or a customer thinks about comprehension, I might talk fast, you might talk slow, but I comprehend things very quickly. So when I listen to Audible or I listen to YouTube videos or whatever, I turn it up to 1.2, 1.5 because I like that speed. Sometimes people might want it at 0.8 or 0.6 because they like to slow it down. And so, we're working on being able to do that. If I'm talking the same speed, I can get the audio so you listen to it faster than I'm talking or slower than I'm talking. So there's all of these things under speech understanding that are coming out, and Sanas is the world's only speech understanding platform. And so we'll be building all that in the next several quarters.
higher productivity, shorter handle times, better customer experience. Sounds like really a winning formula.
Yeah.
100,000 agents using Sanas now, soon to be 1 million.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah. No, and I'll add one more, just equally as important, probably more important in all three of those is employee satisfaction. So employee satisfaction, we know what turnover costs companies in Philippines, constantly having to train people. And one of the main reasons employees leave their job is because of the abuse or the discrimination that they get. And so job satisfaction goes up, tenure goes up, retention goes up, and attrition goes down. And that's a massive improvement on all companies' P&L. So yeah, I just wanted to add that one in there because that's
important because attrition in the industry has always been high, and anything that allows us to retain talent will just keep the industry on that same trajectory. We have grown 6 to 8% over the past 15 years.
Yeah.
So with tools and platforms like Sanas, which is AI driven, it looks like this is really an augmentation for the Filipino digital worker.
That's right.
Rather than being fearful of your job getting disrupted.
That's right. That's right. The future is exciting with AI, and I'm fortunate enough I have a front row seat on seeing what's all the AI tools that are being built right now. Some of them are deployed, some of them are in stealth, and other products are just being thought about right now. And I just think the future of contact centers and the future of the world with AI is going to be something special and something we look back 50, 100 years from now and go, this was the time where the digital transformation or digital revolution started. So.
As a last question, Marty, before we wrap up, how would you describe the future of Sanas?
Oh, the future of Sanas is, it's incredible. I think the word rocket ship gets thrown around quite often, but what we've seen just in the last couple of years at Sanas and the movement and the customers that are behind us, the agents that are behind us, and the industry accepting and understanding what abuse and discrimination and all the things we talked about, bias, really means, being able to improve that. It's really more, it's not a tech company, it's an actual movement in society. And what we want to do is, call centers is one application, but think about all of the other bias and discriminatory comments that are made outside of call centers. You're an Uber driver, you're a delivery, food delivery company, and you're communicating, and accent sometimes gets in the way and comments are made. So we want to have Sanas as a hardware implemented and implanted on AirPods and other devices, headsets for gamers. There's all these other applications. So call centers is kind of one pillar, but all these other sectors are coming here soon, and I think that's all part of eliminating bias globally. And so, we've got a big goal to kind of tackle that in the world. And
a brilliant example of AI augmenting jobs and delivering superior customer experience. That is it for today's show. I am Jack Madrid. Thank you so much to our valued guest, Marty Sarim, for sharing your perspectives with us. Catch us again tomorrow for more enlightening discussions on Industry Beacon. You can catch BNC on Free TV Channel 31 and on Signal Channel 24. Thank you for watching BNC, the Billionario News Channel, always on top.